I'm visiting the San Luis Obispo Savor Wine and Food Festival.
I am so excited to be here at Sunset Savor and the Central Coast, and this is where everybody comes for great wine, great produce. This is where you get the best food in the world. Every time I come here, there's a new discovery. You know, I'm so excited. I'm here with Stacy Jacob, and she's going to tell me all about the event because I want to get smart by the time I leave here.
Well, welcome to Sunset Savor the Central Coast. It's quite an extravaganza from food, wine, celebrity chefs, and all things on the Central Coast. We've got a whole array of artisan food producers, a whole area where you can learn about all the different places to tour on the Central Coast. And don't forget about the backyard farm and the Sunset Garden. What an amazing opportunity to learn about what you can grow in your own backyard.
What I love about it, everything is so fresh. You know, I would say, and I talk about this back home, because we don't get the produce, you know, and everything is just so edible. You can just take it off the branch. I was just having some grapes a moment ago. They were so succulent and so fresh, and the flavor is there, you know, and that's what we miss back east. And, you know, your produce is really the best, and the wines are extraordinary. And California, really, you know, people really need to know that California produces some of the best wines in the world, and it's you've expanded, as a matter of fact. Talk about how the wine industry has expanded in California.
Yeah, well, the wine industry in California, we know about the great wines of Napa and Sonoma, but the Central Coast, from Monterey, Santa Cruz, San Luis Obispo County, Paso Robles, and of course Santa Barbara, an amazing variety of wines. We have so many different kinds of wines, from Cabernet Sauvignon to the Rhone varieties to what's happening with Pinot Noir. It's really exciting to really look at the microclimates of this area and how they really truly reflect in the different wines that we have. Our goal is to showcase all things tourism. And because wine and food is such a major part of what we do here, we wanted to put that on display in a really great way. So partnering with Sunset Magazine really created Sunset Savor the Central Coast.
You know what I love is the fact that people have come from everywhere. I've met people on this trip that I have never met before. They are so excited about it, but I love the fact that they're so friendly and open about the whole expression. And the wine, the vintners are so extraordinary. I've had the best time here, and I want to thank you so much for this invitation, because this is, as I said, the second time I've been here, and each time I've come, it's gotten bigger and better, and next year I'm sure it's going to be even better.
Excellent. Well, we're so glad you're back, John. That's fantastic to hear. And let me tell you, we really pride ourselves on the local aspect. You know, when we talk about all the diversity in California, that whole concept of eating local is really easy to do here in California, and specifically the Central Coast.
Because you have so much land.
We have so much land, and the ocean is like 30 minutes away from us.
Unbelievable.
And so from the great sustainable seafood to our fantastic local wines to, of course, our sustainable farming practices that we have here on the Central Coast.
And you know what? I didn't know that salmon was local. And then I've discovered that salmon is local here, and I've had so much of it, and the seafood is so incredible. I mean, I can't get enough of it, and I think I've gained weight. I mean, my pants are really tight from all the food and all the drinks that I've had, all the great wines, and you know, what else can I say except it's been fantastic?
Well, that's what we like to celebrate. You know, food brings people together in a really unique way.
Well, it's also a celebration of life, and I think that's what the whole experience is, a celebration of life.
That's absolutely right. And what better to do that with a glass of wine?
How about that? We better go and get one.
We better go get one, John. Let's do it.
Hi, my name is Heather Moran. I represent San Luis Obispo Wine Country Association. And welcome to Sunset Savor the Central Coast.
I just can't believe the texture. I can't believe the color of these grapes. When you look at a bunch like this, it's so extraordinary. And the color, it's unbelievable. I just asked, what do they do with the second harvest? And this young lady told me what they do is house wines, or they make them for cooking, which I think is very practical. Nothing goes to waste. And now I'm going to taste some of this Syrah. This is unbelievable. Oh. I toast to this entire region of winemakers.
Cheers!
And the name of your winery is?
So, San Luis Obispo Wine Country, we encompass all the cool climate regions. So basically, our membership is all the way up in Santa Margarita, all the way down to Arroyo Grande. We're known as the cool coastal climate region. So all of our members are within 15 miles from the coast. So we get
so
that
this is really
influence.
this is really a central.
Yeah, so we're called San Luis Obispo Wine Country, so we
Right.
represent all the wineries throughout San Luis Obispo.
And how many are there?
So we have 30-member wineries. Many of them are very small, handcrafted artisan winemakers. So, you're looking at production about 250 cases, upwards of 10,000 cases.
Wow.
I kid you not, they are that small.
How
and
fabulous.
you can taste the difference in the wine because they are handcrafted. It's a family that's making the wine. You get to meet the family of winemakers, the people behind the wine when you come wine
And you have
tasting.
dinner with them.
Absolutely. So it really makes Savor the Central Coast an amazing event and a culinary experience is because it encompasses everything that the Central Coast has to offer. I mean, you look up the coast, Monterey, all the way down to Santa Barbara. You have the people behind the wine. You have all the foods, all the culinary pairings that come together. You have our local farmers. You have some wonderful chefs that are coming together to really build this extravagant event. And it's a great way for us, our locals, to showcase what we call the slow life. It's really, San Luis Obispo. It's what we encompass. It's our everyday living. Great food, great wine, great experience. And that's what brings Savor. It brings all of that together in one wine and food culinary weekend. So I really love it. It's great to be here representing San Luis Obispo Wine Country Association and to showcase our amazing wines here alongside of these great chefs and all these great local restaurants. So, cheers to you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What's so fabulous is the fact that you can pair the wines, with food, and that makes it very special. We do a lot of that back home, but it's not. California is really known for, especially now, for all these wonderful wines, and all these vintners are young. They're not, generations and generations. So it's really a new industry.
We do. We have a lot of first-generation winemakers, second-generation winemakers. What's really great about our people is we have a lot of young bloods, is what we call them.
Right.
So a lot of under 35 even.
Which gives them that initiative where they want to create something new, something special with their wines, and be innovative, I think is the word, right?
Right,
Yeah, right.
And we showcase a lot of our member wineries at our events. And our next event coming up is Harvest Celebration, November 2nd through the 4th.
Right.
What's incredible about this is we have on Friday a rock and road trip where we actually take people around to 3 different wineries, Chamizal, Tolosa, and Edna Valley. You get to ride basically a bus and tour these vineyards, and you get to work one-on-one with the winemakers
How
and the
fabulous.
vineyards, and you get to harvest, you get to prune, you get to actually stir the leaves and do all the things that the winemakers do.
Wow.
in the
Can you
field.
stomp the grapes?
There might be some coffee too.
Like
Possibly.
Lucy.
Yeah. Friday evening, November 2nd, we have a winemaker dinner at Leader Restaurant. So
Right.
we feature, 12 of our different brands at
Right.
that dinner.
Right.
And then Saturday, we pull out all the stops. Big grand tasting, live and silent auction, grand tasting. It's an incredible experience.
Oh my
So,
God.
if
Sounds
you're looking
fabulous.
If you're looking for
I
another
w-
way.
I wish I was back here again, but
gotta come
unfortunately,
back.
well, we will at some point. And as I said, this is the second time I've been here, and it's so exciting. And each time it's grown so much, and it's just absolutely a wonderful experience. And all the people that we meet who are so enthusiastic about their produce and their products. And I think that's, I want to toast again to you.
I do.
And a big success.
This is one of the magical, historic trains from Walt Disney, and I'm boarding it for a tour of the farm where the San Luis Obispo Savor Food Festival is being held. The interior of the train has been restored to its original splendor. The tour includes open fields, barns. After all, we are on a farm.
Chasing Wild Ass. Oh, it's not what you're thinking. It's a narrative of my travel around the world. I have interspersed photos and aromatic recipes, which allows you to dream, discover, and rediscover these great destinations around the world. The title of the book came about while we were chasing jackasses in Kutch Wild Ass Sanctuary in Gujarat, India. And I thought that was a great title for the book. This is food for the soul. Not only does it allow you to dream, it's adventure, it's history, it's culinary, it's culture, with a sense of humor to spice it up. Chasing Wild Ass is a celebration of life. You have to live each day as if it's your last. Remember, my world is your world. So get up, get out, and travel!
My name is Chef Nathan Lyon. I have a show on PBS called Growing a Greener World, and another show on Varia Living called Good Food America, and I was on Food Network and TLC and Discovery, but every single show I've done always has to do with this. This being Sunset Savor the Central Coast, and I love it because we talk about local sustainable foods and some delicious local wines as well. So regardless of where in the United States you're from, you can always go to your local farmer's market. You can always go to your local restaurants where they always buy in season. Because when you buy in season, whether from your local food purveyor or say coming here for a delicious sample from local restaurants, they use seasonal food. And seasonal food has the most flavor, and that's what I want as a chef, the most nutrition, and that's what I want as a teacher. But it actually, and this is the stumper here, it costs the least because everybody's always growing the same types of things. So like when you go to the grocery store in the middle of winter and you're thinking, why are these blueberries $6 for a pint? And the reason is because they're not in season in the northern hemisphere and they have to be flown all the way from the southern hemisphere. If I had to fly from Chile, I would charge you $25 a pint, right? So when you eat in season, your body wants those things naturally. So for example, today, it's gonna be almost 91 degrees, and I'll be preparing a roast eggplant caponata today. And also for dessert, I'll be doing a honey vanilla whipped ricotta over fresh berries with torn mint. All those things are very cooling to the body, and they all grow in the same season. So you're talking about like tomatoes, peppers, onions, garlic. And that's the best thing about Mother Nature. And when you go to local farmers markets, you don't even have to think about it. You just buy what the farmers have there on offer, and I guarantee they all work really well together for you and your family. Thanks. Oh yeah, this. Is that in there? Okay, so this is my cookbook, my seasonal cookbook, and it took me 6 years to complete. Great food starts fresh. That's okay. So this is my baby. This is my baby 6 years in the making. My seasonal cookbook, Great Food Starts Fresh, and it's based on 5 seasons, pardon me. I just get so excited. Spring, summer, autumn, winter, and then chocolate is the 5th season. And 350 pages, I did all the photography, and I've been really fortunate to work with local farmers in Southern California for over 10 years, and then going to culinary school, and then working under different chefs that have the same feeling about fresh, nutritional food. And so that's what this cookbook's based on. You can get it at my personal website, which is chefnathanlyon.com. And people that I've had, that I just hold in such high regard, and I've worked with on different shows like Alice Waters, Graham Kerr, the Galloping Gourmet, the man who I was cooking with in his home, the reason why I became a chef, Curtis Stone, and Jamie Oliver. You know, people that I emulate and really just want to get behind them because they're doing such beautiful things for this nation. And you know, here at Sunset, we're doing the exact same thing by showcasing local chefs that are using locally sourced food, and it's all in season. And it's just such a great place to be, and there's so much beautiful energy. And at the end of the day, you know, you feel pretty good. It's a glass of wine, some delicious food, and listen, it doesn't get much better than that.
I'm Susan Feniger, and I'm from Los Angeles. I own the Border Grill restaurants in Los Angeles, Santa Monica, and Las Vegas, and the Border Grill trucks. I also own a restaurant called Susan Feniger Street in Los Angeles. And I'm up here at Savor the Central Coast, and I'm very excited to be here because it's totally a wonderful event. I love Sunset Magazine. Of course, I do anything for Mandalay Bay to be up here because it's just, I think this part of California is absolutely one of the gems, and it's almost like a secret that we don't want anyone to know about because there's such amazing products, ingredients, things that you can't find anywhere, and all in one place like this. So I love coming up here. Here in the Central Coast up here, you have all these incredible local farms. The ability to get seafood. The seafood I had this morning, this fresh halibut and spot prawns were the most, they were literally caught this morning, brought here for my demo. It's just, and all the different farms. You've got the oysters that are so close. You've got abalone. It's hard to beat.
Orange or grapefruit or anything, I do it the exact same way. Like if you're going to supreme a lemon or a lime or an orange, where you take the segments out, this is how you clean it. You just, make sure you get all the green off there. And then what we're going to do, well, you'll take the seeds out and you'll get more of the green off. And so with this salad, we're just going to dice it. You can dice it large if you don't want to bother with it. I mean, really dicing it even is only just so it looks prettier, but you can do big chunks of it if you want it, or it could be an ugly dice, doesn't really matter. Now this is really beautiful, and of course they're a lot better at garnishing than I am. And you've got this, whatever melons are in season. I mean, right now melons are so gorgeous. So the cantaloupe, you've got honeydew, watermelon. You've got this assorted melon salad here. What we're doing is doing what's sort of typically done in Southeast Asia is we're going to make a vinaigrette that uses sesame, soy, lime, and tons of ginger. And this is called the gin tok salad. And in Southeast Asia, this is actually eaten like you might eat the intermezzo, because ginger's digestivo, so it's wonderful for digestion, so it's served in that way. And it's not always with melon, but it's actually with this kind of dressing. Have you guys ever seen young ginger? And this is when it has this light pink skin that's just fantastic. And you don't even really have to peel this, and it's just got such an amazing flavor to it. We're gonna make this dressing. So on this dressing, we've got the ginger. So again, whenever we're cutting anything round, the rule of thumb is cut a flat side like this, so you've got a flat side, and if it's too big, just cut it like that. So you've got a flat side, can you see there? Okay. So then we do the same thing. As I go down, just like I did the melon, right? If you want to peel it, if you're using regular ginger, if you're using this young ginger, the skin's so thin and it's not fibrous that you don't even have to peel it. And then with a microplane, if you've got a microplane in your garage, you can use a microplane for grating, or look at this fancy little thing. I love this little ceramic ginger grater, because look at this little thing. I've never even seen that. But I use ginger a ton, and cool, I love that. Okay, so we've got all this ginger, right? So now we've got the dressing that's going on is basically it's a vinaigrette. You're gonna see we do vinaigrettes all the time with this. So what we have here is soy sauce, lime juice, all this fresh ginger. Well, maybe we don't need all of it. Well, maybe we do. Ginger, and then we're gonna use extra virgin olive oil. So we're taking soy, ginger, olive oil, lime. So that's basically a vinaigrette. Think about the rule of thumb for vinaigrette as being 3 parts oil to 1 part acid. So that's, we're doing it with soy, lime, and that, olive oil. And then we're gonna add sesame seeds to it. Now, whenever we're working with seeds or spices or anything like that, typically what I like to do is to toast it. Like if you've ever traveled, if you've traveled in India anywhere and you get off the plane, you smell spices just everywhere. And the reason is because spices, when they're fresh, are loaded with natural oil. When you toast them, that's what brings the flavor out. So since this is going into a dish that's not going to be cooked, I want to toast those sesame seeds so that I get the real flavor of the sesame versus just raw going in there. So I'm just going to lightly toast them. And whenever you're toasting spices, you want to sort of stand there because you don't want them to burn. And so we're just going to toast those a little bit. In the meantime, what we're going to do is take coconut and peanuts. Now these peanuts got toasted already. And lime leaf. Are you guys familiar with the Asian lime leaf? Well, I'm going to pass these around because you won't believe how fabulous. Here, want to pass those around? Did you have that whole drink? Oh, no. Okay. All right. So, and whenever you're tossing something, see how I'm just doing this? I don't like flip it like this. I'm actually pushing it towards the front row on an angle and flipping it back. So you can practice with a piece of bread. That's why when we're in the kitchen, we have constantly pans all over. You have a towel here. You walk by, flip it something, you flip the next thing, and you just always are sort of with a towel and flip. You're not actually find a spoon to stir. Okay, so those are, you can see there. It looks like they're burning, but they're not. I'm going to take that, and probably I would let it cool down before I would add it in, but I'm just going to put, I wouldn't add it necessarily hot into the melon. But, so this is the sesame ginger melon, right, dressing that's sort of sitting there like that. Then, in this pan, I'm going to take a little bit of oil, coconut, and you've got to watch the coconut so it doesn't burn like that. So see, the pan was a little hot, so I just want to keep tossing it so it doesn't burn too much more. Like that. Quick, right? And then I want to put my lime leaf in so it gets a little bit in there. Okay, there you go. So you can see that, you can smell that. Then even the heat just from the coconut with the lime leaf is going to bring in flavor. So, and we've got our peanuts that have already been toasted. Otherwise, I would have toasted my peanuts right in there. And I'm adding those into this mixture, okay? Okay, so then you've got all of this ready to go, right? This, let's say this is chilled down. You've got this chutney here that's got a little bit of sugar in there that I forgot to put in the pan, but there you go. A little bit of sugar, olive oil, the lime leaves, the coconut, and the peanuts, okay? So you've got this total sweet, salty thing that happens all over Southeast Asia. So we've got the melon. So we've got our lentils. Basically, the lentils were just cooked in a little bit of water, finished with a little bit of salt, just plain, you cook those ahead. You've got your melons done, so you've got your lentils. It can be green lentils, it can be black lentils, it can be masoor dal, it can be, you know, any bean you have. It wouldn't even have to be a lentil. So you've got your lentils, your melons. Are you guys totally confused? Okay, good. So you've got, so what I love about this is that great texture that you get from the lentils. So you've got the richness of the lentils, the sweetness of the coconut, and that combination with the melons, and then you've got the saltiness of that soy, sesame, ginger vinaigrette.
My name is Artie Sequeira, and I host a show on Food Network called Artie Party, which I won by competing on Food Network Star a couple years ago. And now I'm doing shows both on Food Network and on Cooking Channel. The kind of food that I make is actually, I guess people are finding it exciting, so that's great. I'm taking Indian flavors and sort of taking some of the intimidation out of them. You know, I too have opened an Indian cookbook and looked at the 15 ingredients and been like, heck no! So I'm trying to simplify, but also show you how once you've bought all those spices to make a more traditional meal, how you can take those spices and work them into, you know, your normal weeknight dinner, whether it's a roast chicken or maybe, you know, a little affogato with some cardamom and some espresso over the top. You know, just a way to start playing with those spices so that you don't have to be scared of them anymore. As an Indian, street food is so much a part of our culture, so I can't help but be influenced by that. You know, street food is just inherently kind of vibrant and alive, and the thing that I love about it is that you line up on the street just with everybody else so that you can get a little bite of your own, you know? So, and I love that. I'm very much sort of in love with or enamored with food that speaks to everybody, that is meaningful to everybody, that doesn't have to be too fancy, but also isn't too boring. And that's the thing to me that's so exciting about street food. Oftentimes, street food is a taste of something you've never had before, whether it's from another country or someone's own kind of imagination. And so that completely plays into the way that I cook. You know, it's not completely traditional Indian food, Sometimes, like the other day, I made a thing that was totally inspired by street food. I made a Korean Indian pancake made of rice flour and cucumber and cumin and scallions, and then I served it with a big dollop of kimchi over the top. I only started cooking about, I'd say, 10 years ago, really. I mean, I'd always baked and sort of cooked a little bit here and there, but to cook every day, that was sort of a new thing for me, and I learned so much from watching cooking shows and reading cookbooks and all of that kind of stuff. There's a lot of sort of self-education going on, and I think that that's how a lot of people have learned to cook. I mean, there was a time when we didn't have cooking schools and we learnt from our mothers, you know, and I love that that's still alive and well. My show, Arty Party, is on Food Network on Sunday mornings, very early, so set your DVR. But you can also find me on Cooking Channel, which is sort of the younger sister of Food Network, and that's for like the real food geeks. If you're a food geek, Cooking Channel is for you.
You know, people come from far and near to taste fresh produce, seafood, and of course, great wines.
I am so excited to be here at Sunset Savor and Central Coast, and this is where everybody comes for great food, great wine, and it's a social occasion. It's a very special thing, and every time I come, there's always a new discovery.
There's nothing better than fresh oysters from Morro Bay.
There's nothing more exciting than being here at Sunset Savor in the Central Coast. I've enjoyed the wines, and this is known, California is known for fine wines, and also the cuisine is extraordinary. It's so fresh, the produce is unbelievable. We went zip lining, we've had incredible clam bakes on the beach. This is heaven. I'm loving it. Remember, my world is your world. Get up, get out, and travel!
Look forward to seeing you next week for another great adventure around the world. So long for now.